All right, Shalom. This is Hara One, Ban Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Ha Rakah Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Um, the title on this article, well, it's actually screenshots of a video that I saw on what was the HT or news, right? I think it's the Hindu Times News. They brought it out about Putin's new next generation nuclear weapons. It says Putin's nuclear warning. All right, Putin's nuclear warning to the West. You know, the West basically is deals with the beast, the dragon, and the horror. America altogether as the beast system. It says Putin's nuclear warning to the West amid the Ukrainian war. Russia's shakes the West. So like, I hate the way these people type, man, but I'm gonna read it the correct way. It says Russia shakes the West with next generation nuclear missile amid Putin's big nuke warning. See, it says watch. All right, there's a lot of spiritual stuff in this title that caught my attention. All right, let's start with the nuclear warnings. All right, to the West, let's get that. This is Jeremiah 50:9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations." So the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, is raising up the spirit of the Medes, raising up Russia, all right, raising up China, Iran, Syria, all these nations preparing to go to war against America and Israel, the land of Israel, their allies. All right, so they're prepping for war against those two lands, according to the scriptures. So they're setting themselves up against this place, rising up. All right, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and Russia's in the north to America. All right, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. So once the BRICS nations and the Russian, Chinese allies are all set in position and got their stance and everything right against this place, that's when the Lord going to take this place down. All right? In its full perfection. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So everything will be perfect for this coming destruction. All right, the soldiers going to be perfect, precise. Their missiles, their technology, their generals. The Most High going to put a spirit on all of them to be on point against America. All right. It says, because of the wrath, verse 13, because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited. So like it, that's what I wanted. 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. So they all coming against this place. All right. If everybody's circled around you and you're the target, that means what they call it? They set up a siege against this place, and then America becomes the focus point. It becomes what? The gazing stock. All right. So they're setting up a siege round about this place, an alliance to go against this place as the enemy. So put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all right, all over the world. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. All right, so all the ones that have missiles prepared and ICBM missiles, they're going to shoot them at this place. Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh. Shoot against her round about. Oh, shout against her round about. Okay, and that shout is like a war cry and warnings. All right, so Russia warning America, they're shouting against this place. Of what? Destruction. She have given her hand, her foundations are fallen. So the foundations of this place are falling to the ground. What was the foundation? The spirits that leaped out of the mouth of Rome, the Roman Empire. The foundation of America is the banking system, their military, the policing system, the courts, and their religious system. That's the foundation of this place, man. It's all fallen. All right. Her walls are thrown down, so America's defenses are going to be thrown down. That's why you've been hearing talks of EMPs and cyber attacks. All right. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. All right. So it says here, Putin's nuclear warning to the West amid Ukraine war. They warning them. Ezekiel 38 tells Russia to be thou a guard unto them, man. They warning America. All right. Because let me get this real quick. Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. Meaning, whatever move America's trying to make, Russia gonna be right there to cut them off in the path. If they try to go, like they're trying to go into Palestine now, Russia's gonna meet them there. They're gonna back up and protect Palestine, those Palestinians, those Arabs. All right, they're backing up and taking back those Soviet Union nations, like Ukraine. They're going to protect Iran and China and Syria. All right, it says hell from beneath is moved for thee. So while these nations standing up and becoming the BRICS nations and doing all this and ramping up their missiles and doing military tests and doing practice runs in case they get invaded or attacked with nukes. Civilian, they had civilians training and preparing in case of a nuclear attack. Why are they doing that? For America. All right, it says hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. So the Lord gonna bring it to this place. It stirreth up the dead for thee. So the dead nations like Russia and these heathen nations, they all getting stirred up. All right, and for example, like Russia was known as the bear. It was a quiet nation for about 10 years. Now they're all on the scene, ready to fight back, standing up against the bully America. And those same ancient kings from past generations are back on this earth, and they're all against these Edomites. It says, even all the chief ones of the earth, it have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So it's talking about the dead. It's talking about all the kings of the nations, like Russia, Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, the Iranian leaders. All right. All right. So now let me get this. It says here, Putin's nuclear warning to the West amid Ukrainian war. All right. So now they're fighting wars, preparing to fight a war in Israel, which is more prophetic. And you also have a war in Ukraine. That whole area is tied together. All right, I may have to do a lesson on that as well. So it says here, Russia shakes the West with its next generation nuclear missiles. All right, amid Putin's big nuclear warning. All right, and it says watch. So let's deal with the word Russia shakes the West. All right, so it says Russia shakes the West, man, makes it scaring them, shaking them up. All right, they shook. Jeremiah 51:1, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, see, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. So the Lord is raising up these missiles against the wicked. You got, in this place, you got the sons of the wicked, the sons of men, which means these nations that are here in America. You got the sons of the wicked, which is Esau, and you got the sons of God. But 2/3 of the sons of God are going to be destroyed in this place, America. All right, in the destruction. So he's this destroying wind is being raised up against the people that are in this place that are against the Lord. All right, and will send unto Babylon. See, they're being raised up, right? They're rising up, and the Lord is raising up these nations, stirring up the dead, stirring up hell against this place. And they're coming to meet thee. And the Lord's going to send them unto Babylon. See that? And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. So it's going to happen. And shall empty her land. So there's not going to be anything here. This place is going to be a sea of glass by the time it's done. They're going to empty the land by destroying it. Right? Destroying the scriptures say all the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Right? Neither shall Arabian pitch tent there anymore. Meaning no more businesses in this place. All right. So now it says here, all right, and will send unto Babylon fanners. Let's get that real quick. All right, it says fanners to turn aside, to be a foreigner, strange, profane, to become estranged, right? So Zawara or Zawar. Okay, so these are strange nations. Or it says an enemy. So the Lord has raised up enemies, foreign enemies, to come against this place. All right, fanners that shall fan her. Just because it says fan twice doesn't mean the same word. So it says they shall fan her. Let's get that. To toss about. It says Zara. All right, spelled a little different. To toss about, to diffuse, to winnow. And what happens when you winnow something? You put it in the like, say for instance, you have a bunch of grain on the ground, and you wanted to separate it, and shake it up. You would put it in a winnowing broom. It'd be like a scoop or a broom, and you would toss it into the air with the broom. The broom is shaped like a shovel. and you shake it into the air and let the air separate it, and then let it fall to the ground. That's how you separate your grain with the winnowing tool, shaking it up. So what is Russia doing to this place? Shaking this place up, scattering it. All right, and that's scriptural. It says to be scattered. All right, to sift. And what do you do when you sift something? You shake it up. So back to the article. It says Russia shakes the West with next generation nuclear missiles. See that? So this is all prophetic. Jeremiah 51:2, and will send unto Babylon fanners or enemies that shall fan her, scatter this place. All right. And shall empty her land. So ultimately, that's the goal. They're going to destroy this place. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So by the time the destruction comes, or when America is falling, their foundations are falling, their dollar crashes, by that time, these nations are going to be set up against America round about in perfection. All right? So it said her walls are falling, her foundations are falling. All right? So in the day of trouble, and this place is going into trouble, they're talking about the economic collapse. Even though it crashed, there hasn't been an official announcement. There hasn't been an official move yet towards digital. They're throwing out this date allegedly about November 19th. All the leading banks possibly could be moving towards digital. All right. So in the day of trouble, what's that? All hell breaking loose in this place. They shall be against her round about. So you're going to fight on the homeland and fight on the borders and from around the world. All right. So against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. So they're preparing their missiles against this place. So, all right. So America was the hammer of the earth. This place, Babylon, preparing and threatening and deterring all kinds of nations. Now all these nations are threatening and pointing their arrows and preparing their missiles against this place, Babylon, America. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigadine, meaning his armor, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. All right, so let's see what next generation nuclear missile. Why was it so important? How did it shake up the West as a deterrent? All right, so this is from that same video. When Putin was talking, I just screenshotted everything he was saying, and this is what he was speaking. He says, "We have conducted the last successful test of the Berevestnik nuclear-powered global range, so it can reach anywhere in the globe, and it's nuclear-powered cruise missile." So they did their last test on it, so now it can be activated and put out in the battlefield. This is a next generation nuclear missile called the Berevestnik nuclear powered global, meaning anywhere in the world, global range cruise missiles, man. Cruise missiles. So let's get all that and see by definition what it is. But I want to get the scripture real quick. This says, so they completed their last test. And what did the Lord say? By the time America is in trouble, which we see the trouble coming upon this place, right? The vintage is ending. The mirth of the land is gone. There's a cry for wine in the streets. Okay, this place is being brought low. Um, it says when that happens, by that time, Russia and these nations are going to be set in array against this place. They're going to be set up against this place in their perfection. They've tested their last test of this nuclear global range missile. They can hit any place in the globe, and it's nuclear powered. When it's something nuclear powered, that thing can go on almost like forever until it hits its target. Go around the world 100 times when it's nuclear powered. They got submarines and aircraft carriers operating off nuclear power now. So they could last year round and stay underwater without getting refueled because it's nuclear powered. So these missiles are on that level now. Right? It says what? Ezekiel 38. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. See that? So Russia is not only prepared and enough and equipped, right? So they're preparing for thyself, for their country, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right, so Russia is the mobilizer. They're the ones that are getting everything moving militarily against America. All right, they're the Yosemite Sam, got all the cannons pointed at this place. Okay, so they're prepared. So now let's see what this Berevestnik is. It says the 9M 730. That's what they say in New York. I'm 730. He's like, they're crazy. The 9M 730 Berevestnik is a Russian experimental nuclear powered, nuclear armed cruise missile under development, was complete now for the Russian armed forces. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the missile has an essentially unlimited range. So let's see what that word Berevestnik, what it means. This word Berevestnik, I think Beri means storm, and Vestnik means messenger. All right. So a storm, a messenger that's coming like a storm. See, the Lord is sending this messenger. All right, just like the Lord sent Nebuchadnezzar, the Lord is raising up Putin in those nations. And this missile, which is a messenger, it's like a storm. All right, so if we go down further in the verse, Ezekiel 38, it says, Ezekiel 38:8, speaking about Russia, it says, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many nations. Against the mountains of Israel, Russia is going to come up against the land of Israel, and ultimately against America, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations. And they shall dwell safely, all of them. All right. So the children of Israel, we're over here in America, but we're going to be brought forth from among the nations. Even though they're going to destroy that land, Israel's a people before it's a place. So they're going to come up against America where the Israelites are at. Well, where the main deliverance is going to be here in America. All right, we're scattered all over the world. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. No, Salaki. Verse 9. And thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. What's the name of that missile? Burja or Buri, which means storm. All right. And thou shalt come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee, man. So they're going to cover the land of Israel and this place, America. All right? So they're going to descend like a storm on these places. Or ascend, meaning rise up against this place. Sheesh, like a storm. All right? So the Berevestnik, the definition is storm messenger. All right, so it says the Berevestnik cruise missile with nuclear propulsion system. Even got a nuclear propulsion system. All right. It says Wisdom of Solomon 5:20. All right, so this destruction and this approach is going to be like a storm. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword. See? So what's the message? Yahweh's wrath. All right, this is a messenger of Yahweh's wrath, of how the Lord feels. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. So ultimately, the Lord is going to sharpen his elect men too. He said, you're going to send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them. To do what? The Lord's will. Just like the Lord is raising up these missiles to do his will, and raising up these nations. Ultimately, the Lord is going to raise up his elect to be his battle axe and weapon of war. All right. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolt. So by the time the missiles hit, we're going to be going into the seventh trumpet, or seventh trouble. All right. The sixth trouble is when the Lord said he's going to protect and raise up his elect. So by then, the elect are going to be fighting, I believe. Okay? Fighting back against the wicked, even against 2/3. So while all hell is breaking loose, as we say, race wars, martial law, famines, while that's happening, the destruction is going to be kicking up ultimately until the missiles hit this place. It says, then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, right? Psalms 91. The Lord is going to raise up his angels, all right? Wake up the mighty ones on high, his angels. And they're going to be protecting and covering the elect. The Lord is going to send us help and protection. Psalms 91. They're going to keep us in all our ways. They're going to be zapping people too in the midst of the destruction. All right, the right aiming thunderbolts shall go abroad, and from the clouds, see, from the chariots, as from a well-drawn bow shall they fly to their mark. Okay, even these missiles are going to fly to their mark as from a well-drawn bow. And hailstones full of wrath, now these are the missiles, shall be cast out. What's that? What do they call them damn things? Nuclear warheads. Going to be cast out of this Berevestniks and these the Vanguard, all these different missiles. They're going to cast out talents of warheads. The warheads, the scriptures say they're about 100 talents or something like that. Almost 200 pounds. 100, 200 pounds. And the warheads weigh about 200 to 600 pounds. All right? So they're going to be cast out of these missiles over this land out of a stone bow. right, out of the missile, the projectile that's being propelled by nuclear energy now. And the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind, there go that wind again, the nuclear destruction, like a storm, shall stand up against them, and like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth. So you're going to empty their land, empty this land. And ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. All right, so I'm going to end it here, man. He said, what? It was nuclear. It has nuclear propulsion to it now. All right. So it says Revelations 9:16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. If you do the math, that would be 200 million. So it's either 200 million missiles or the warheads. All right, because there's more warheads than there is missiles. All right, one missile can carry a payload of a bunch of warheads. All right, and the number of the army of the horsemen, he's talking about the missiles, were 200,000. So he's talking about the missiles. All right, the actual missile. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw so the number of them was 200 million. All right, so that's what the scriptures say, spare no arrows. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them. All right, so those that control these missiles, the technology, the AI technology, the warheads. So he saw all of this, John, but he didn't know it as a M230 whatever missile. He just saw it as swords in the heavens, destruction, you know. I saw the horses. He saw it in the vision. He saw the missiles, and them that sat on them, meaning what was controlling them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, man. So that's what's all mixed in with this missile. All right. Now, basically, it's going to be metallic. All right. It says a jacinth, meaning a deep blue of a red color bordering on black. That's deep, man. So he saw the color of these missiles. They were metallic looking. And the missile I just showed y'all was red, you know. They got white ones with stripes. They got blue ones. They got all kind of different colors. And brimstone. So they got the nuclear, what do you call that? Nuclear empowered. All right. All right. So it's full of plutonium, uranium. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. All right. So the head of it, what's that? The nuclear warhead. So the power is in the head of it. The Most High created it for that. All right. And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Because that's where the power is at in these missiles, out of the front of it. That's where the brimstone and the smoke, all right, going to issue out. That's why it said that in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. It said, and hailstones full of wrath, full of the Most High's wrath in it. All right. It says, by these, so it said issued out of the mouth. So the word mouth goes into the edge of a sword or a weapon. The mouth, it says the front or edge of a weapon. That's the one we want. Okay, the opening. And the edge of this weapon is the nuclear warheads. So he saw that the power was coming out of the front of these weapons. But he also saw something else. for their power is in their mouth, the nuclear warheads, and in their tails. So now these missiles are nuclear empowered, meaning behind it, they're going to be propelled by nuclear fire. So that's what he saw. For their tails were like unto serpents. What does it leave behind? When the missiles shoot off, it leaves that trail. All right, that means it's propelled by this tail or by the end of the missile. But it's going to be nuclear propelled. All right. For their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. All right. So it's going to be nuclear empowered, nuclear propelled, and also full of wrath, nuclear fire in the warheads, man. All kind of radiation. All right, this is Job 21:17. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? And that's the third part of men, the wicked. So how often is the candle of the wicked put out? The Lord is going to end these kingdoms. He's ended many kingdoms upon the earth, so this one's going to be put out too. The light of the Chaldees, excellency, this place America, is going to be put out in their wickedness, their rulership. And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? Yahweh distributeth sorrows in his anger. He's going to distribute hell to these people in the Lord when it's time for his wrath. They are as stubble before the wind. All right, so this wind, the blast, is going to turn people into dust. And as chaff that the storm carrieth away. All right, so the missiles are going to be like storms. Thus you have the Berevestnik, which is it means a messenger or storm, a stormy messenger. Yahweh layeth up his iniquity for his children; he rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, right? Because Esau is a child of the Most High as well. All right, and 2/3. But they're going to see it, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. All right, so the Lord's going to reward these people for their wickedness. He's going to reward them with destruction, and they're going to drink of the wrath of the Most High, and they shall know it's from him. How are they going to know? Because the Lord sent his prophets out here to tell them ahead of time. All right, so it says, we have conducted the last successful test of the Berevestnik nuclear-powered global-range cruise missile. Russia had almost completed work on its Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile system. All right, so they basically completed the Sarmat testing too the other day. They announced it. They said they completed it. So they got the Sarmat. They got all these different missiles, and they coming into their completion and missile testing. Russian president confirmed that Russia has successfully tested their next generation nuclear missile. Vladimir Putin said that the last successful test of the Berevestnik has been conducted. Berevestnik is a global range cruise missile with a nuclear installation and propulsion system. All right, so it can propel it with nuclear power, and it can be sustained and kept active and moving around the world at nuclear powered, and then it can hit with that nuclear power. The program to develop Berevestnik was announced by Putin in March 2018. So they've been moving ever since then. Putin added that Russia has also completed work on its Sarmat 2 missile. The arrogance of our so-called partners in the West was simply off the charts. There is no other way to say it, right? All right. So the arrogance of this place ran by Esau. What it say in Habakkuk chapter 2? The spirit that is lifted up in him is not upright. And Esau and Obadiah says the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. All right. So in their pride, the Lord has laid a snare for these devils. And the scriptures say that pride goeth uh, before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Isaiah 47:7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So the whore that's riding upon the scarlet colored beast, clothed in purple, meaning all these nations gave their power to this. All these European nations, they gave their power into America, creating what you call the United States. And they thought that was going to be forever. Their alliances and being backed by NATO. But no, the Lord has raised up something new in the earth. You got the BRICS nations, all kind of missiles, all kind of new stuff, man. That's the Most High's creation. So that, nope, it's not going to last forever. So that thou didst not lay these things to heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it, right? That just like Sodom and Gomorrah left as an example. Look at the end of that place. Look at the end of Babylon. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, man. This place is full of pleasures and wickedness. All right. That dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. See? America thought it was the dominant ruling nation, Edomite nation. Yeah, and with NATO, who can go to war with them? In the sight of the dragon, the Roman Empire, or the European Union. So they were prideful. They were proud. America's putting its armies all over the world. I'm going to go and take Taiwan. I'm going to take South Korea now. This is ours. We're taking this, taking that. Prideful. But now the weak are saying they're strong. They say, art thou become as weak as we? Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow. They think their alliances with Europe is going to last forever. But ultimately, the Lord said, England is going to be ashamed of this place. The mother that had thee shall be ashamed of this place. Meaning they're not even thinking about America. America's the last thing on their agenda as far as their new world order. They just want to control this place and ultimately see it destroyed. That's why I said the scriptures say that the same ones that put the robe on and the purple and the scarlet on America and decked it with all kind of gold and jewels and they're going to be the same ones that strip this place and eat her flesh and cause her to be burned. So who's pushing this war? The global elites over there in Europe. Who's pushing the destruction of America? The global elites over in Europe. They're pushing the new world order from the old world order, which was based on the dollar in America. Now they want to move into digital and have China be the leading digital country. All right. But now China nah, this is going to start their own thing. But these two things shall come upon thee in a moment, in one day, in 1 hour, the loss of children and widowhood. So America's going to lose all its protection on the home front, their army, their generals, they're going to lose everything. The power at home and overseas. So they're not going to have help from inside or outside. All right. Neither shall I know. It said, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, and they shall come upon thee in their perfection, in their perfection. So all these nuclear missiles and everything, and these alliances with Russia and China and all these countries, and the military being ramped up and trained. All this is going to come upon America in its perfection. It's being built up as a breach ready to fall. And once it's fully built up, that's when the Lord going to release it. Like a storm builds up for lightning or charged up energy. And once it's full, that's when the lightning is cast on the earth or the rain. All right. It says, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. See, America trusted in their wickedness and their democracy and their paganism, Satanism, and their money and their dollar and their robbing, stealing, and killing all over the world. So they trusted in that. All right, so it got them. They became arrogant. Lack of preparation. Didn't see this coming. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. All right, so the Lord said he was going to reveal the shame of this place to the world. And they see the wickedness of this place. They see the breaking of the policies and the treaties and the sanctions. All right. How America treats the world. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right. So he said it, man. He said the arrogance of our so-called partners in the West was simply off the charts. There is no other way to say it. The United States and its satellites were firmly on a course for hegemony, meaning rulership, all right, or dominance. Military, political, economic, cultural, even moral and values. They were on the leading cusp of these attributes. All right, but now America has lost all of that. I repeat, the West, a certain part of the West, Western elites, always needs an enemy. They're talking about NATO. All right, without an enemy, NATO wouldn't exist. So they created an enemy. NATO was created for Russia and Japan at that time, and even China. But once Russia, the Soviet Union fell, there was no enemy to prepare against. So as of 2016 and going into 2020, they created an enemy, poking at Russia. That's when you start hearing about NATO again. All right, so they always need an enemy. So what's that? Propaganda. They start creating propaganda, demonizing Russia, calling them terrorists and all that, terroristic country. All right. It says, but it, the enemy, talking about America, is also needed to maintain internal control in a certain system of hegemon with the blocks within NATO. So America is needed um, for Europe and NATO to have their power. This is Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and the elect are taking up that proverb against the presidents that rule this place, and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. So this place is ceasing. It's coming to an end. It's the oppressor of the earth. Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. So the scepter, all right? The scepter is something that you rule with. It gives you your power. So what gave Europe and NATO their power in these times? It was because of America. All right, and their nuclear power, their military, all right, and their dollar. So, those, those elites over there in Europe, they use America to control the world. I'm gonna get one more precept. This is Jeremiah 50:22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nation? All right, how is this happening? It's because the Lord is raising up these nations and raising up technology and everything against this place. All right, judgment. So the hammer of the whole earth, that's what those globalist elites, Edomites, was using to destroy and control the whole world and steal the resources from the earth. Stole all the gold, stole a lot of gold and silver and resources from Russia and these other nations like Italy during Vietnam. That's how you get petrodollar and no longer the gold-backed dollar currency. It was a robbery of these other nations. And America doesn't have that gold and silver. All that stuff is taken by the elites. It says, other military political blocks, there is an enemy, and all must rally around one boss. It says, all the time we hear, you must, you should. We are seriously warning you. Who are you to say it? They ain't talking to America. Who are you? They're saying America's the little guy now. See? That's why the scriptures say that. Let the weak say, I am strong. That's what Russia's saying. Who are you? What right do you have to warn anyone? It's just incredible. So they're saying that they see how America has lost its power. All right. It says Russia's flying Chernobyl. That's what it is. It's a flying Chernobyl. Sheesh. This new missile. All right. So it's called a flying Chernobyl. It goes back to the disaster in 1980s, 1986. All right. It was basically a nuclear power plant that exploded called Chernobyl. But this is a flying radioactive explosion. All right. So now it says Russia's flying Chernobyl missile heralds new nuke arms race. All right, so it's a messenger. Okay, so I'm gonna end it with this one. It says Isaiah 34:4, And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. All right, because it's going to be nuclear empowered, gonna burn up elements in the sky. And when it explodes over a city, or they have some that explode over the country, and they have some that are like EMPs, and then they have some that are like hydrogen or vacuum bombs where they don't even touch the ground, it just scorches everything with fervent heat. Then they got the one the scriptures talk about that's going to pierce this place through. All right, deliver a payload straight to the soils of this place. All right, so the stone bow is going to hit the soils, and the warheads are going to do their damage. They're going to rain like hailstone. All right, so all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's from the mushroom clouds. And all right, so that means these things are going to touch the ground and cause their destruction that they're meant to cause. And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off the vine, as from a falling fig from a fig tree. Goes to the missiles. All right, they're gonna be EMPs, so planes gonna be falling out the skies, all kind of shit, satellites, and missiles as well. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. All right, so these swords, the Lord created this, and it's gonna be bathed in heaven, meaning it's gonna go up into the sky, into the Shemayim. It said, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. And Idumea today represents America, and the third part of men, which is the wicked, Esau, 2/3, and these heathens. So it shall come down upon this place, Babylon or America, also called Idumea. And it just so happened that one of the missiles is like red, the Berevestnik. It got red in it. All right, Idumea, which means red. And upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, so yeah, man, these missiles are going to do their job. Okay. It says, for the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness. I mean, it's going to be increased with destroying casualties and people. The blood part filled with blood. So you see a clear, clean, brandished, furbished sword, but now you see it covered in blood, meaning it didn't slaughter somebody. All right. It is made fat with fatness. All right. So it's going to be increased with the destruction. And with the blood of lambs and goats, with the chiefs and presidents and rulers and mayors. All right. With the fat of the kidneys of rams, all their leaders, famous people. For Yahweh have a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorns shall come down with them. See that? So not just their local celebrities, their religious leaders, but their political leaders as well shall be destroyed in that time. And the bullocks with the bulls. All right, that goes into their leaders. The unicorn represents the chief ones, the leaders. All right, the highly exalted ones. And their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. See, this, so the ground is going to be increased greatly with blood and destruction, as much as can go up to a horse's bridle. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion.